I'm Amy Robinson. I'm with Enlightened Healthy Living, and I'm a wellness advocate for doTERRA essential oils. I'm sitting here today with Dr. Carlos Santo, and he is a board-certified naturopathic physician here in Arizona, and he is also the founder of Wellness One Nation. Welcome, Dr. Santo.
Thanks, Amy.
So today we are going to talk about just healthy weight. You know, we kind of have an obesity issue here in America. And I would just love to know more about your feedback just on how we can keep our weight healthy.
The statistics on obesity today suggest that more than 1 in 3 individuals are at least 20% over their ideal weight. And this is a problem.
Yeah.
It's been a problem since the 1950s, but really the last 3 decades, since the 1980s, it has become just a skyrocket epidemic problem, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Is the weight loss industry, as you know.
Yes.
There are drugs available, and unfortunately, we're looking down the wrong path when it comes to achieving healthy weight naturally. So let's look at, for instance, potential causes first of all, and where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
And if we look back to the Framingham Heart Studies, which started in the 1960s, we're looking at populations out east in Boston and Pennsylvania areas. They were looking at trying to identify the connection between diet and heart disease, for instance. And what started coming from that was cholesterol. Cholesterol started being equated with heart attacks and then dying. And unfortunately, before the full picture ever really came out, the truth about the study, which took over many decades to identify, they started coming up with plans already to, anti-cholesterol campaigns, anti-fat campaigns. And so people started consuming more pasta, more carbohydrates, more bread. That was big in the 70s, into the 80s. And what happened was we have a nation that got fatter and sicker. Cancer went up.
Yeah.
Diabetes went through the roof. And as we know, today, as a matter of fact, if we factor in obesity and as it relates to heart disease and death from heart disease, which, by the way, is the #1 cause of death in this country, heart disease.
Wow.
Absolutely, in women as well. We look and we actually can identify the fact that our children today have a shorter life expectancy than we do. They have a greater chance of dying from a heart attack than we may, because their obesity incidence is higher than ours.
Oh, wow.
There are more fat kids percentage-wise today than our fat adults.
Now, is that because of our, fast food? We have so many fast foods and everyone wanting the quick fix
There's
real quick.
There's the obvious stuff, yeah. And then it's just the wrong approach.
Yeah.
So for many years, we've been looking for low-fat, low cholesterol, sugar-free, diet and drink items. And what's it done for us? It's flip-flopped us in the wrong direction. We have to change the perspective. Kids today have high cholesterol. They shouldn't. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It shouldn't be. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
We need to get back to a natural state of choosing our foods locally if possible, organically if possible. But even if you can't afford to buy locally or buy organically, you still can make healthy choices, such as shopping on the perimeter of the grocery stores. What does that mean? What's on the perimeter? Well, there's the produce aisle. There's the meat and dairy aisle if you choose to eat meat. That's where all the healthy products are. Then you go into the interior aisles, that's where the packaged stuff is. My patients know, what I tell them is if it has an ingredients list, it's processed.
No good, yeah.
It comes from a can, it's got an ingredients list, and it comes in a box, it's processed. But what about bread? Bread's natural. No, it's not. It's made from ingredients. It's not natural. It's not found that way in nature.
So how much bread should we be eating then? Because bread
Zero.
is kind of like a #1 thing that I think most people eat. I eat it all. I eat it every day.
Yeah, well, that's the main
I
staple.
have a sandwich every day.
It's a main staple in the U.S. But wheat sensitivity now is a huge problem, and you don't have to have a identifiably frank gluten sensitivity to be gluten sensitive. And we call that celiac disease. There are many people who are negative celiac who have significant gluten sensitivity. And I actually like to recommend a book that people read. It's by William Davis, an MD, who wrote Wheat Belly, and the information is free on his website, wheatbelly.com. Why? The title is because people, until they're able to quit wheat products, have a hard time losing that midsection. And that's the one pearl
Oh, the tire. They call it the
that's
tire.
right. And if that's the one pearl our viewers can take home today is if you've tried everything else, diet and exercise, you think that, and you haven't yet tried cutting out wheat completely 100% for at least a month,
Oh,
you
wow.
will not notice if that spare tire can go down. And then people say, well, I really don't have that much. I may have just like one scone a day or a
Yeah.
bagel or something like that. It's enough to create and to perpetuate a problem. And it's the same thing with kids. Same thing. And then we have to look at the other stuff too. Are you consuming dairy? If so, are you getting the one dairy without hormones in it? Because hormones are going to pack on the pounds.
So just choose organic over
When possible, absolutely.
over regular.
Yeah. There's also non-organic available yogurt that is not necessarily
Still
organic, but at least
healthy,
it's
good.
hormone free. And the one to look for on the label says RBST free.
Yeah.
And then they'll put the FDA disclaimer on there saying no significant difference has been found between cows treated or not treated with RBST. But we, as consumers, would like to have that choice.
Yeah.
If nothing else, you identify yourself as a health advocate. I am absolutely a health and consumer advocate as well. And this is what we need. We need to, have the choice and the power to choose.
Yes.
And we don't want that taken away from us.
Absolutely.
So you want to put it in your food, go right ahead.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do like our neighbors do in South America, Central America, and Asia, where we don't put these things in our food. We don't have this epidemic problem,
Yes, I agree.
So there you go. That's the biggest thing.
So people out there who are, there's all those fad diets. People are doing the paleo. I mean, I've heard of so many different diets. So if someone's out there, they're wanting to do a diet, is there a safe diet for people?
Well, what we'll notice is whether it's a high meat diet or a high vegetarian diet or vegan diet, what we all notice is the one common theme among all of these, the blood type diet, I'll be Asian myself, but I'll say it, but the Scarsdale diet, these are things that, gosh, over the years, I can think of all of them. The paleo is really big right now. The one common thread is every one of them removes the junk food. You remove the junk food out of the diet and people lose weight. Wow. So it really wasn't your diet.
Yeah.
It wasn't the skinny bee diet. It was the idea that you took the junk out. What a novel concept. We've been teaching this stuff for decades.
Just make it more simple.
It took someone, to put it in a book and follow this strange plan. Just eating cucumbers all day or drinking cucumber water all day is going to make me lose weight. Well, of course it will. If you're replacing, hamburgers from the drive-through, with white bread on the inside, on the outside, on both sides. You're drinking cucumber water instead, or drinking, eating grapefruits all day long. That's another diet. Of course, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
Because you're taking the junk out.
Right.
So whether you're taking the junk out and replacing it with a high meat diet or a high vegan diet, I'll be honest with you, in the end, really doesn't seem to matter.
It doesn't matter.
No.
So just making those healthy choices is really just the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. The research supports what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it really is. I like keeping things simple because if it's complicated, parents are not going to follow it for their kids. They're not going to do it themselves. We're all taxed and stretched to the limit.
Right.
And why not keep it simple? Buy locally when available. Keep an active lifestyle. Shop at the perimeters of the grocery store. Drink healthy, good water. By the way, manage your stress. Stress is a major contributor to obesity because it causes insulin resistance, which is a big contributor to not only obesity but diabetes.
So what would you say to people who are maybe using, there's a lot of pills out there too as well to try to lose weight?
It can't come in a pill, is what I like to say. It'll work short term. Even many of my colleagues, they use HCG injections.
I was going to say, that was really, really popular.
Yeah, but in the end, it does work short term. But those people eventually have to go back to eating.
To sustain.
And so they'll lose 20 pounds. They'll fit into that dress for that reunion, and they'll catch it back up again. And they'll end up like Oprah, who's, admittedly just yo-yo dieted for her entire life. And many people have continued to follow her. And she'd go on a kick, and they'd follow her on that kick. She'd get off the kick, and they'd get off it. And they'd go up and down, up and down.
Along with her.
Problem with doing that is it's very, very taxing to the heart and the thyroid as well. And so it's not a good idea to yo-yo up and down like that, whether you're doing it naturally or not. the body is going to rebel. And a diet should be something someone follows for life all the time. You shouldn't just neglect your body, neglect your body, neglect your body, and then
Right.
bam, hit it hard for 6 weeks with this program, knowing that you have no intention to stay on it because it may not be even a realistic program.
Right.
The HCG diet, for instance, doesn't really work, or it actually needs to work with a 600 calorie a day diet. Who
Oh,
can consume
wow.
600 calories
Yeah.
and function? Any
Right.
diet, whether you take HCG shots or not,
Mm-hmm.
you consume 600 calories, you're going to lose weight. You know,
Right. That's very, very
and
true.
that's the truth. So I
Well,
mean, throw your scale away, focus more on how the clothes are fitting, change your attitude about your weight, and instead focus on your health,
yes.
and your weight will normalize itself.
Yeah. Well, with essential oils, with what I use, we have an
Mhm.
essential oil blend called Slim and Sassy, which is
Mhm.
kind of a funny name, but men use it too. And what it does is it actually will increase your metabolism. It will level out your blood sugar levels. It will help you with those sugar cravings. And take 5 to 8 drops in between meals, or 3 to 8 drops in between meals, and you can do it in between every single meal. And it will just start detoxing your fat cells. Our fat cells hold a lot of toxins, and so when they shrink, our bodies shrink. And so that is another thing that people can incorporate, along, with their diet, that's completely safe, healthy, and will just give them that added just little boost or help that maybe they need.
Mhm.
And it's been really fun to just see how many people do have so much success with using that oil, both men and women.
Yeah.
So
Lots of great options people have.
yes, yes.
Stay healthy, everybody.
Well, thanks, Dr. Carlos.
It was fun.